Groundbreaking filmmaker Ken Burns is renowned for his documentaries about the American experience. His films about singularly American themes like baseball, jazz, and the Civil War are the definitive documentaries of each topic.
But tonight on PBS, he's premiering his first project about a non-American subject, legendary scientist, engineer, and artist Leonardo Da Vinci. Here's a sneak peek.
In the late 1470s, Leonardo finally left Verrocchio's studio and opened one of his own, with his own apprentices and assistants. Between commissions, he devised and drew machines for an array of purposes. Some were inspired by the designs of classical inventors or Renaissance engineers, and all were informed by his close observations of nature. The spirals in a snail's shell, the eddies of water in a surging stream, and the swirls of wind induced by a thunderstorm.
And we are so lucky to have Ken Burns and his daughter Sarah Burns, who wrote and directed that film with him, both here in studio with us. Welcome. It is a fascinating documentary. Ken, it's obviously not your first rodeo, but this is about a non-American. This is about an Italian. What drew both of you to this?
Well, one of his biographers, Walter Isaacson, pushed me to think about it, and I kept saying I only do American stuff. But when I told Sarah and David McMahon, her husband, my son-in-law, also a co-writer and a co-director, they said, why not? And then suddenly I realized, right, why not? And this is, you know, one of the most extraordinary human beings who's ever lived, the most curious person I think I've ever come across, who's not just arguably the greatest painter of all time, certainly has the most famous painting, but is all these other things: a scientist, an anatomist, a botanist, an inventor, an architect. You know, he's the ultimate polymath.
Yeah. I mean, to that end, your film really highlights how prolific Da Vinci was, even 500 years after his life. So many people are captivated. Mona Lisa, Last Supper. He wasn't exactly known for finishing projects per se, but I wonder for both of you, what surprised you? Did you learn anything new?
Oh, my goodness, everything. I mean,
yeah, it's in a lot of ways, it's all new to us, right? We all know a few of those things, the famous paintings. Maybe we understand that he's something of a scientist and engineer, but for us, the process of working on the film is that journey of discovery and getting to know what's beyond that. So he left behind more than 4,000 pages of notebooks with his writings and drawings, and it's astonishing the breadth of his interests in there.
We have some of them right behind you, actually, here, and he writes backwards.
right. So he's a lefty like I am, and I spent my entire grade school smudging the page.
Yeah.
So he decides I'm going to write backwards in a mirror script. So, you know, if you've ever done that, but imagine doing it every moment of your life for the rest of your life, even if you're writing a grocery list for 4,000 or 6,000 pages of all of these extraordinary explorations. They're not diaries. He's not telling you how he feels about somebody or somebody else. He's telling you about these penetrating searches into the meaning of everything. And so you could look at the Mona Lisa as a great work of science and some of the anatomies as great works of art, and I could hear his voice in my head chastising me, saying, there's no difference.
What's the difference?
What's the difference?
Right. And can we talk a little more about the makings of the man? In watching this film, I thought to myself, I wonder if we could have a Da Vinci today, because we're all here. And he spent so much time outside. Why were his formative years so critical? So
first of all, he's born out of wedlock, which means he's not privileged to follow the route of his father, who's a notary, an accountant, a lawyer. He can't do that. So nature becomes his primary and first teacher, which grounds him in a sense of curiosity about how things work. And then as he works himself into the artistic scenes of Florence, they're not just studying painting, they're studying drawing and sculpture and leather making and jewelry and bookbinding, and they're learning mathematics and anatomy. So he's becoming somebody who decides, I need to know everything about everything. So there are things that we've discovered, you know, 500 years after his death that he's right about. 450 years after his death, 475, that the way the heart works, there's no purpose when he's alive, but it is central to what we know today. Exactly.
Sarah, you and your dad have been working together, people may not know, for about, what, 15 years now? So this is not your first rodeo together, but you moved to Italy with your husband, your kids?
Yes.
I mean, that's dedication.
Yeah, we spent a school year in Florence to do the filming and research and really just to walk in Leonardo's footsteps and to feel closer to his Italianness and to be able to spend time kind of immersed in this space that is amazingly in many ways not that different.
Yeah, I was struck by when you're showing the old and the new, you can see there's not much change in like the cathedral in the town of, I guess, Vinci, right?
No, it's right. It looks not that dissimilar, and we filmed all of these workshops where the artisans were making crafts in order to show what it would have been like when Leonardo was an apprentice. And there are people in Florence making these things with their hands in very similar ways as they did during the Renaissance.
So powerful. I mean, what do you both hope people take away from this?
I think it's that you want to have his curiosity. Because of this now, we don't leave ourselves open to be influenced by all of these things, to ask the big questions. What's the nature of the universe? What's our role as human beings? Who are we? Who am I? All of these big questions that he's relentlessly pursuing. So to be more like Leonardo is to be more open to the world. And we hope, or I hope, this is my pet peeve, that no one, once they see this film, ever makes a joke about the Mona Lisa smile again, because the entire set of questions that I just said he pursued all his life are in her expression, and particularly that smile. The whole human project is represented in that moment, and I think we can now let go the jokes about what's the origin of that smile.
Yeah. Well, go ahead, Sarah.
Oh, I just think I agree. It's that we could be more like him. His wonder and joy that he takes in the world around him, making those observations and in asking those questions and challenging authority is incredible.
Well, Ken and Sarah Burns, thank you both so much for being with us. And of course, for everyone watching, remember that you can watch the first part of Leonardo da Vinci tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Central on PBS.
Thanks for watching. Stay updated about breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or follow us on social media.